You text someone politely, and the reply is just K, not even the full word, only the letter. You wonder if you offended them, if they're busy, or why a single keystroke can feel like a door closing quietly, leaving you oddly unsettled by its simplicity. Not long ago, I realized many of my messages sounded stiffer than intended. The problem wasn't content, but structure. When texting was new, a period was harmless. You finished a thought, added a dot, and moved on naturally without considering tone or emotion. Now that same dot feels clipped, even cold. No hostility meant, but that's how it lands. Modern texting quietly rewrote tone rules. Punctuation, timing, and reactions shape meaning more than words. We didn't ask for this dictionary, yet we all learned it unconsciously. You probably know its rules without naming them. What do all these taps, marks, and silences say? How do we avoid sounding like we're drafting office emails when confirming dinner? So today, let's decode the texting dialect, not to chase trends, but to stay clear. Texting wasn't designed for tone. It began when typing required pressing numbers repeatedly. Every character was effort. Warmth and nuance didn't fit. Then smartphones arrived, messages became effortless, and people typed like speaking, quick, casual, constant, but tone lagged behind. People improvised. Lol softened edges, haha eased tension, and silence gained meaning. A missed reply could suddenly carry weight. Phones became personal diaries. Reactions, read receipts, and inline replies emerged as fixes for tone problems no feature could completely solve. Texting now has grammar, even if unspoken. A period feels stern, K feels abrupt, ellipses create unease, and caps are unmistakably loud. Tone is binary. If it looks intense, it is. People read emotion into punctuation, even when the sender meant none at all. Reactions, the thumbs up, hearts, exclamation marks, added efficiency but layered meaning. Under 40, a thumbs up means acknowledgement. Over 40, it can seem curt. Hearts feel friendly. Exclamation marks add warmth. Question marks clarify, not confuse. Even symbols learned social nuance. Inline replies help manage chaotic group chats, rescuing lost threads. Long texts, though, feel formal, almost corporate. Structure, not length, changes perception. Multiple paragraphs raise stakes. The rhythm slows. Conversations feel heavier, like meetings disguised as weekend planning, where misunderstanding quietly grows. Texting reflects identity. Reply speed signals personality. Fast feels respectful, slow feels calm. People sprinkle lol or haha, not for humor but gentleness, a digital smile. Silence can mean distraction, not disinterest, but immediacy tricks us into overthinking every pause and unread bubble. It's ironic, our phones can film documentaries, yet emotions travel through blue and green bubbles. Systems clash. iMessage and SMS never align. Reactions glitch, photos compress, chats fragment. The friction isn't malicious, just evidence of languages evolving faster than the tools connecting them. Most people don't want reinvention, only clarity. Drop the final period, say okay, not K, shorten, don't stiffen. If you mean closure, silence works. The real shift is awareness. Tone lives between words. Simplicity wins when messages sound human, not strategic, and meaning flows cleanly. When texting first took off, nobody imagined it would become a full-time translation job. It was meant to be quick notes, short updates, the digital version of leaning into a doorway and saying you'd be back in 10. Phones got smarter, language flattened, messages shortened, and suddenly the emotional weight of entire relationships sat inside a tiny bubble. People stopped calling and emailing, and the shift crept in quietly. Phones predicted words before we typed them. Keyboards shrank from full sentences to thumb movements. Expectations moved from writing something thoughtful to responding quickly, and when speed became the norm, tone evaporated. So people improvised with lol, emojis, and dropped punctuation. A period began sounding like a scolding. None of this was planned. It was just the natural side effect of a language built in a hurry. Even bubble colors became signals. Blue meant iMessage with smoother conversations. Green meant SMS with glitches, missing features, and the subtle assumption something would break. Everyone under 30 absorbed these rules without taking notes. The rest of us arrived later, wondering when a thumbs up became a final verdict and why okay suddenly felt like a cold shoulder. Once you see the pattern, though, the system isn't complicated. It's built around efficiency instead of formality. A period doesn't read like grammar anymore. It reads like frustration. K isn't shorthand but a digital grunt. 3 dots carry tension, like pacing instead of knocking. Capital letters read as shouting, even if dictated by voice. So younger people soften everything with lol or haha as cushioning. These aren't jokes, they're temperature checks. Reactions work the same way. A thumbs up means acknowledgement and closure. A heart means genuine appreciation. Exclamation marks show excitement without a full sentence. It's the nod you give in a hallway, polite, quick, minimal, and designed to keep conversations light. Inline replies tame group chat chaos. They attach responses to the right bubble so nothing splinters into misunderstandings. Long texts, though, feel formal even when they're not. Multiple paragraphs raise the stakes and turn simple logistics into something people read like email. Structure changes tone even when intent doesn't. Breaking messages into smaller pieces keeps things steady. Nobody grades grammar, they grade tone. Silence gets misunderstood because phones are always present and access is assumed. But silence is usually distraction, not hostility. Life interrupts, and modern quiet moments trigger more overthinking than necessary. All these small signals shape identity. Reply speed becomes personality. Fast responders feel engaged. Slow responders feel detached even if they're just doing chores. Choosing haha over lol reads warmer. Dropping punctuation reads flexible. Even declining an invitation shifts tone based on spacing and phrasing. The rules aren't moral, they're mechanical. They emerge because tone doesn't travel well through short text. People use reactions to keep things light, shorter messages to avoid formality, and softer wording to avoid unintentional sharpness. Adjusting to the rhythm makes texting easier without pretending to be younger. The goal isn't reinvention. It's staying yourself while sounding current enough that your messages land the way you mean them. Short, clear, kind. Reactions when acknowledgement is enough. Smaller messages for bigger thoughts. Avoid the K, save novels for email. No one wants friction, they want clarity. Once you see the unwritten rules, the whole system stops feeling mysterious. It becomes another language you've picked up without noticing. And it proves that even with all the features, shortcuts, and blue bubbles in the world, tone still matters more than the tools delivering it. Texting didn't set out to become a second language, but here we are, treating tiny messages the way we once treated full conversations, and the shift didn't start with etiquette guides or style rules. It started with convenience. As phones got faster, keyboards got smaller, and the expectation of constant availability crept in without anyone announcing it, reshaping our sense of tone almost overnight. The early idea was simple: shorter notes, quicker exchanges, less formality than email. Yet the moment the pace picked up, everything else changed. Tone slipped out first, punctuation followed, and eventually the little signals we thought were harmless started carrying more weight than the actual words we typed. You can track the whole timeline through habits, because people once wrote full thoughts when they had room, but now space feels tight, and a text message lands like it's measured in inches, which compresses tone until it gets misread, turning periods into scolding and long replies into something resembling paperwork. The moment iMessage and SMS split communication into two colors, the drift accelerated, blue bubbles gained reactions, smooth threads, better photos, while green bubbles became the glitchier lane. Younger people absorbed the new rules without naming them, treating thumbs-ups as closure, hearts as sincerity, and exclamation marks as alignment. By the time many older adults realized something had shifted, the invisible dictionary was already built, turning K into a grunt, into anxiety, and caps into yelling even when voice-to-text simply misfired, while long messages started reading like corporate memos rather than thoughtful clarifications. Reactions look like shortcuts but act like tone stabilizers, helping people acknowledge messages without forcing more replies, and inline replies clean up group chats so threads don't fracture, which feels modern because it removes guesswork at a time when guesswork is the part everyone quietly resents. Tone then became the entire point, and people added lol or haha, not for humor but cushioning, softening blunt statements the way a calm voice would in person, which is why haha tends to land warmer than lol and why sure feels fine while sure can sound colder than intended. Breaking messages into smaller pieces keeps tone steady because nobody grades grammar anymore. They grade temperature, and silence often gets misread because phones are always present even though silence is usually distraction, not hostility, while reply speed subtly shapes how people interpret another person's personality. All these signals create identity through tiny adjustments: reply pace, choice of haha over lol, the presence or absence of punctuation, and even how someone declines an invitation, because short text strips away context, leaving tone to carry meaning in ways most people never consciously decided. The rules aren't moral, they're mechanical, emerging from the limitations of short messages, and adjusting to them doesn't require pretending to be younger, only trimming accidental sharp edges so your messages land the way you intend, with less friction and more clarity in everyday exchanges. Once you see the unwritten rules, texting stops feeling mysterious and becomes another language you've learned without realizing it, and the perspective shift is simple. The world didn't go nuts. We just haven't updated our settings because younger people read tone, not style, and tone is easy to tune. Staying current never requires changing who you are. It's about sounding like yourself in a format that removes half the information before it reaches the other person, and simple phrases like got it, all good, and no rush lower friction, proving old dogs set the pace, not the panic, until the next move arrives.